Okay, go for it. Sing along, Abdul.
I'm doing the pictures today.
But at that time, put it this way, you could go into a football match. I used to get into Ibrox for £1, and that was a Childgate. £1 note, and that was a Childgate, because I was a child at that time.
Are you a child?
Aye, and you used to have the old £1 green notes. You remember it? Green notes. One of them was a Childgate. You used to be able to pay it. There used to be a joke, what's green and gets you in the Ibrox? A £1 note. Because it's green. We didn't touch the colour green, but if you had one, you could get you in the Ibrox.
See you, like you, whenever I've seen you, you've always had blue on.
True blue.
And have you got any?
I don't wear green now.
You don't wear green?
Nah. It's against my religion to wear green.
So your house as well, everything's blue in your house?
Aye, I don't have green. I don't have green.
Your walls and all that are blue carpets over there?
Blue, red, white.
Eh?
I'd rather be a packet of them.
Really? Where did that originate from, that Paki song?
I sang it.
You invented it?
When I was going to school that way, I had to sing it to the Catholics or went that because they were shouting Paki, Paki. So I'd rather be a Paki than them.
So you got the copyrights?
Well, I was proud to be a Paki, that's what it is.
Well, that's the thing, a lot of people think you're not proud to be a Paki, but you are.
I've got a Rangers talking Paki loyalist at the back.
Right.
No surrender Paki loyalist. Black loyalism matters.
The question I want to ask you is that, you know when the first time you went to the EDO matches and all that, the SDO, and you've been obviously Pakistani, Asian, did you not feel a wee bit sort of intimidated?
No, because everyone just treated me good. Everyone was coming up to me, nobody said to me why you here or what you doing.
Aye, but what I'm saying is, like, did you not think that the EDO, I mean, obviously afterwards you had an idea of what they're all about, but initially, did you not think, hold on, these people are racist? Why would you go there? Like, you're not scared of getting attacked?
No, I went there to see if people were saying, like, they were saying we're not racist, the newspapers are saying they are. So I thought I'll just go and find it with my own eyes, I'll go and check out. When I found there, everyone just accepted me, so I go to answer. You know, so there you go.
So you used to go to EDL matches and you're saying they weren't racist?
Yeah, they all welcome. And anybody that was being racist in that group used to get chucked out. You know? Tommy Rob's the head part of the guy for doing a Nazi slap, you know?
Well, Tommy Robbins is Jewish himself.
Well, he claims to be Catholic. And suddenly there was a black player in there. Now, naturally, the black player, people will shout, start turning him about his skin colour. And then somebody will probably shout, hold on a minute, I'll still rather be a darkie than a Tim. So we're off the subject, it's the Tims we hate more. So somebody will shout, I'll rather be a darkie than Tim, and then he'll just start singing, oh, I'd rather be a darkie than a Tim. So I change it to I'd rather be a Paki than a Tim.
What do you think of racism yourself? Have you suffered racism in your life?
Have I what?
Suffered racism?
By who?
By living in the UK, like, growing up in
Aye, everywhere, yeah. The racists are everywhere.
Like, what kind of example can you give me?
To shout your Paki, go back to your own country. The black bastard.
Is that the Celtic fans because of who you are, or is that just generally?
Well, I was getting it from school days. At that time I was an unknown person. I was just like there was no internet at that time. And it wasn't just me getting it. Other Asians, because see the school I went to, it was called Woodside Secondary. And because it was full of Asians, they started calling it Wogside Secondary. Wog for gollywog, because that school's like darkies.
Right.
They used to call the Protestant Paki lovers. And when they used to go through the Woodlands area where I lived to go to that school, the Catholics, they used to call that area Paki Derry. When you go through Paki Derry, so they were all making fun of us. And that was Catholics doing that. Because this school never had one coloured person in it. This school was all white. So they were all that white pride sort of thing, you know. And we went to a mixed school.
So, in that time you went to Belfast as well, you said that they stopped you for getting on your boat. the ferry because
Well, that was the police, yeah.
that's a form of racism as well.
Yeah, asking questions on being detained under a terrorism act, you know, just to ask questions. Are you legal in this country? And they ask you all these questions about the day you were born, many people in your family, what's all their names. They want to know everything, you know. But they picked me out only because I'm the colour person.
So you think that was a form of racism?
Well, that happens. That even happens at airports when Asians come back from Pakistan. That they always get stopped on them. They ask questions. Are you part of the ISIS? Are you? Do you pray? You know, do you follow the Taliban? No, you get all these questions.
So that's racial profiling?
What?
Religion was like, have you ever studied theology, any sort of theology at all? Like,
A wee bit.
so like obviously the Protestants emerged from obviously like they were previously Catholic, and in the 15th century there was a lot of problems within the church, and they left and obviously protested. A lot of people died for that cause, so that's where a lot of the bitterness towards the Catholicism comes from, because they had to be the way they were in terms of obviously the following gospel. They had to be pure anti-Catholic church, otherwise, you know, they didn't burn at the stake. That's what I've known the history has been, because it has gotten better now. It has gotten better over the.
It's part of Christianity, and it's the same religion.
Yeah.
It's just a different sect.
But like, essentially, like they left the church for the right reasons. They left the church for the right reasons, and there were fair points and whatnot. Like, and I wish other people did understand that themselves.
He said Hitler was a Catholic.
Yeah, it was.
But people say he's the atheist.
What's that?
People say he's the atheist.
Might have been secretly. He might have maybe used.
But he's a Catholic.
He might have maybe, because obviously the Catholic Church was very strict back then. They might have maybe used that as a form of control.
So he said that Catholics don't like Jews.
Sort of like.
What's the reason for that?
Early Christianity was
Goes
like
back,
Jews. Early Christianity was like Jews, and that's what historically what the Catholic Church started off as. The Catholic Church started off as being, you know, a very vulnerable religion. You know, the Romans were persecuting everyone who was Christian, but then what happened was over the centuries, the fraternity that was Rome got so powerful that they basically became mad with power, and they were basically expecting everybody to pay for a thing called indulgences, and it went away from the original scripture of the New Testament, and that's why people protested. They declared themselves as Protestants and left the church because they felt it was like a lost cause, essentially. They felt it was like a lost cause and it needed to be cleansed by the scripture. So actually Protestants technically done a lot for the Catholic Church historically, technically speaking, by enforcing the meaning of scripture over councils and whatnot. You can't really have a go. You can't really have a go, in my opinion, at people from the other side, because they did have a point. Now, again, it's like, it depends what I'm talking about here. Like, some of the early Protestant movements in Europe, like the Lutherans and whatnot in Germany and places like that, they were entirely different from other places. Like King Henry of England, he started his Anglican church by he quit the Catholic Church because he wanted a divorce. Now that's clearly going on off course of what Protestantism was meant to be, because it clearly says, thou shalt not commit adultery, and he's going away wanting a fucking divorce. So I mean, that just sounds like pure heresy. He basically...
Wait, tell me this. Who's your favourite Celtic player of all time?
I would probably say... Let's start. Between Paul McStay and Henry Garson.
McStay was good. Oh, you know McStay? He's very underrated. Nobody talks about him, but he's a great player.
Yeah. I support Celtic. One of the reasons I support Celtic is because I feel as Scots have a historical identity of being Celts, like the Irish, like the Welsh. They're all genetically related. and they were all known as Celts. But each of these Celtic peoples had obviously had a name for themselves. Like the Romans called the Scottish at that time the Picts, and the Irish were called the Scotti. And then the Welsh, not sure what they were called, but it was all Celtic peoples. And that's why I feel it's more accurate. It's more accurate for me to Scots Irish.
You going back hundreds of years? Well, you going back?
Yeah. Like that's like
So anything you want to ask a Celtic fan? You always wanted to ask?
No.
Here's the opportunity. Anything you want to ask them, you can ask.
Mine just now.
Yeah?
Fucking mine.
Who's the best Rangers player? Who you thought? Rangers, this guy's good.
probably Richard Gow.
Richard Gow.
Gow in the 90s, he was probably one of the best.
Richard Goff.
Is that as pronounced?
Goff. Richard, the South African guy. The defender.
Yeah.
Richard Goff.
Richard Goff.
Well, what did you think of like, Loudrop? David Cooper, Loudrop. Brian Loudrop.
Not familiar with those players.
Really? Brian Loudrop?
Just a wild guess, I mean, like,
Oh,
I
bet.
heard that he was quite a fierce rival of Mixed State. In their time, they were like fierce rivals.
Who's that?
Mixed State and Richard Gow.
Richard Goff.
Oh, right, aye.
Fierce rivals.
Right, aye.
Around 95.
Aye, that's right. And you used to go to all the games back in the day.
This was before I was born.
So how old are you, then, asking?
21. This Top's actually older than me.
You're 21?
Yeah.
How old's that Top?
93, 94.
How old are your gears?
40 something.
Tell him.
51.
What 51?
51.
Must be all the fasting. It's probably make you look young. It's all the fasting.
Are you religious?
Are you Muslim?
Huh?
Are you Muslim?
Yeah. Prodi Muslim.
Ah, right, I see.
Prodi Muslim.
Are you proud of your religion? Are your background?
Oh, aye. Aye.
Wouldn't that technically mean though that you would be sort of, you would feel that you're like a Muslim cleansed by the Quran?
I'm a Muslim's what?
Cleansed by the Quran?
When you say cleansed by the Quran, what do you mean?
Like,
My brainwashed by the Quran.
no, like, you obviously get, you get some Muslim countries that I find are kind of cool, then you get some Muslim countries that are fucking mental.
Yeah. Like Turkey and all that.
There's
Right,
people in Saudi Arabia that think their country's mental, that the government's mental.
The radicals, you mean? I follow the peaceful side.
Yeah, and obviously, like,
Like the Taliban and all that.
Aye.
yes,
The
the
radicals, I'm
Wahhabis.
against
But if you go to Turkey, Turkey's modern. Turkey, like people go on holidays. Istanbul, Marmaris. It's a holiday resort. Dubai, most popular holiday resort in the world. A Muslim country. Muslim, Abu Dhabi. So it's not a one size fits all glove. You know what I mean? It's all different.
Aye.
Yeah, good and bad everywhere.
You
In
kind
a
of
nutshell.
get parts of the Muslim world that's kind of might corrupt with power. Because, like, I was talking about historically what happened with obviously the Vatican and how people left that to start their own churches because of the problems that exist in the day. I kind of feel that's what's probably happening nowadays with parts of Islam.
What do you make of the sexual abuse accusations of the Catholic Church, over the last few decades? What do you say to that?
It was awful. It was awful, but it happened in some places outside the Catholic Church. It happened there as well. There was a lot of sexual abuse among Anglican priests as well in England. I mean, like, it's hard to explain, like.
Banter.
Aye.
Funny banter. We've all got friends on the other side. I don't hate any Catholics. I got Catholic friends.
Two of his nephews are Celtic
Aye,
fans.
there you go. I see Neil Lennon.
Okay, what do you think of him as a person?
What's that?
What do you think of this guy, Abdul Rangers? What do you think of him?
I don't know if you've met me before, no?
No, but he knows you.
I said, like, you're famous, like, I know it's.
No,
But what do you
you've
think of him?
met
Be
me
honest.
before, no?
What do you think of him?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like.
You just know me from internet.
Aye. You singing songs, you're gonna do that, of course.
Right. Just like Celtic fans are going to sing their song.
Aye, exactly.
And you'll get that no from you.
Aye, that's bound to
Just
happen.
draw up on us. And
But
again,
that Kyogo, that was wrong. making the size and all that, and that was a bit out of order. But he can remember when Mark Walters and all that time. Tell me about that. The incident when he-
First black player signed for Rangers, Mark Walters, he had bananas thrown at him by Celtic fans. So
It's no
you
different.
get racism on all sides.
It's no different.
You get them everywhere, innit?
Right, talk about Sunday. Who's winning?
Both for the Celtic. For obvious reasons.
But Celtic signed a couple of good players.
What's that?
They signed some good players.
Yes, the new Japanese player.
Great player. People comparing him to Larson. He's got
Not
5
sure
goals in
about
7
that.
games. Five goals in 7 games.
Was this from the previous team who's playing it? Was it
No, now.
now?
No, five.
That's fucking impressive. That's impressive.
But people comparing him to Henrik Larsson. They say that he's an
Potential.
Yeah,
Potential.
yeah. But see his movement and the way he goes in the right spots to score goals. That's very similar. You know what I mean? Very, very similar. So give me a prediction then, score.
1-0 to Rangers.
Hard to say.
There's no Celtic fans at Ibrox.
What's that?
There's no fans, Celtic fans at Ibrox. No way.
Just
man.
because the COVID thing.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
How's it? It's all Rangers fans then?
Some bit, I know. It's not the same, but
So 1-0 Celtic. He said 1-0 Rangers.
Well, if what you're saying is true, what you're saying about the two Japanese player, I'd probably say it was like 2-0 Celtic. At least, if that's the case.
Have you seen that video of him that gets thrown in the fountain in London?
Yes.
What do you make of that?
I'm Celtic fans,
No, Hibs.
or Hibs fans. Well,
Oh, was it Hibs fans?
yeah, but Hibs and Celtic are like kind of connected, aren't they?
I think that might be to do with obviously have you've sung anti-Catholic songs, right? Now, I was raised Catholic, but as an adult, I don't care about either or either. Like, I don't care about either or either. Some people are probably like heavy, you know, I'm sorry, like, you know, with strict Catholics, and then they've heard that and they thought that's like heresy, and that's probably why they threw it in the fight. It's probably very little to do with football.
Right, but then they shouted dirty orange bastards, so they're shouting. How can they say it to me when they're shouting something back like that? And if they were like dedicated and true Catholics, Catholic religion tells you to turn the other cheek. It doesn't tell you to, you know. So they're actually going against what the Catholic religion says. Now, I mean, the Pope would be angry with them. The Pope and every Catholic, any true Catholic in the world will be angry because they're actually using Catholic religion as a tool to say it's okay for us to attack you. Religion's about peace.
I guess.
It's only the extremists that would say, hold on, you attack
Do you get offended when he says fuck the Pope?
No.
You only get offended because you want to get offended.
See, like, if you're saying fuck the Pope for historical reasons, then I'd say fair enough. You know what I mean? But historical.
No, why do you say fuck the Pope?
It's just, it's ingrained in me from young days to fancying it. It's just a bad habit. Bad habit.
Is that your OCD?
I've got OCD as well, obsessive compulsive. It's just a bad habit. Addiction. It's hard to get rid of it. It's ingrained.
Are you a season ticket holder, Parkhead?
No, too expensive for me. Too expensive for me.
But you're a die-hard Celtic fan. The fact that you've got a Celtic top in a Rangers area next to a Rangers pub, it means you either you.
I like coming to that restaurant. I really like that restaurant.
No, the fact that you're in between the two Rangers pubs means that you're obviously no give two fucks.
I don't care. I like Celtic. I like where I'm stop. That's it.
I respect your courage. Not many people do that. Right, would you walk in Gallowgate? Would you walk in one of the pubs in Gallowgate?
Nah. No, but see, there is one Celtic pub in this area. There is one Celtic, the crowd, that's a Celtic bar, isn't it?
Aye.
So at least there's still one Celtic bar. In Gallowgate there's no Rangers.
Are you from Larkhall?
Yep.
So that's a proper.
There is a Celtic pub in Larkhall.
I think it's called the Mac and Lee.
There is what, it's round the side street, yeah?
Yeah. I went to Helens Hill in Marco.
You went to a Rangers school, Protestant school.
Yes.
What was it like then? You're black sheep.
What's that?
Were you a black sheep?
I wasn't baptised yet. I wasn't baptised till later on, till I was 9. But I just...
What I'm saying is, do people know you're a Celtic fan? At your school?
Nowadays, I don't really know a lot of people from Larkhall because I was only very young, but that's where I done my school, and the primary school I went to was Hellieshill. It was Hellieshill I went to, but I went to high school here in Alexandra. It's just up the road from here.
This is the Rangers area as well, mostly predominantly. Rangers.
That's probably why I'm so cool-minded. Used to it.
You ever been jumped or attacked? Never.
Yeah.
But that happens.
What's that?
I mean, that happens. I mean, Glasgow. I mean, you must know people that's happened to.
Of course.
But do you know if you sort of a wee bit kind of wary?
Oh yeah, of course.
What would be?
Well, I think the knowledge that it's neither good nor clever in a lot of people's minds is probably what puts them after in it. You get what I mean? Like a fact. Because it just makes their own club look bad.
Well, you've been attacked many times.
I get bored all the time. Celtic fans.
You used to the abuse.
I'm used to it all now.
But the thing is, they don't do that much. I mean, I would say what's the worst thing that's happened to you?
I broke my wrist. They pushed me. I fell and broke my wrist. I got tucked in a fountain. The guy came and punched me in London. That was it. So, nothing big. Nothing big. Nothing big.
I mean, you're 52 years old.
That's it.
Lifelong Rangers fan.
Yeah.
Lifelong Rangers fan.
Mostly just verbal abuse.
Tell them why you supported Rangers and not Celtic. Tell them the reason.
I'm proud to be British. I'm born.
My opinion. So, I feel as if the British Empire didn't do a lot of nice things to a lot of ethnic groups in India and India and Africa, and that's why I'm a nationalist.
SNP.
Yes, SNP Green now, the merged recently. That's why I'm a nationalist. And I also felt that the only reason the Union started historically was King James II of Scotland. Something happened with the Treasury, like bad financial decisions happened and the Scottish Treasury ran out of gold. Now, worried for the future prospects, he sent emissaries to the Royal Courts of England and he basically, begged for a trade union in return for merging the Royal Courts together. So this is how you had stuff like the Duke of Edinburgh and stuff like that, because it was a merge of the Scottish courts and the English courts in return for a whole island-wide trade union, and that's essentially kind of saved the economy of Scotland. Without that trade union, Scotland was pretty much fucked. It pretty much happened out of silly financial decisions. But if that never had happened, I'd imagine Scotland would probably still be an independent country.
You think Scotland will be independent? You can see that happening in the future?
Yeah, next 10 years. But I mean, when a second vote comes, people can't fuck it up. Because if they do decide to vote no that time, I mean, that'll be it for about 200, 300 years. I would say.
Are you SNP as well?
No, I'm for the Union. I'm actually part of the Union.
Part of the Union?
No, I'm proud to be British. I want to keep my identity.
You Labour then?
No, I don't follow Labour. No, I don't follow with that, but I just want to be part of the Union.
Why do you love Britain so much?
But Britain, like, immigrants live here. So I've got honour. They let us live here. Why would I not like them? Scotland didn't let us in here. They didn't have a say. They never had a parliament. So,
I think it was it Tories, I believe it was around 1997 when the first parliament in Scotland was formed. A lot of Tories, they basically vented the view that, if you start a parliament in Scotland, it could lead to further divulgence in the future. So they were probably right. Because of the independence stuff that's happening nowadays. Mind you, I feel as if a lot of lies had been told to historically whitewashed and things about, oh, like the British Empire went to this country and brought this tech there, the British Empire went to this country and developed all this. That's, to me, that's all bullshit. Like, they went over and basically robbed the resources, took people as slaves. It was essentially like 17th century British Empire was very similar to the 1940s Nazi Empire.
So the British Empire was quite bad. It was evil.
Yeah, very much so.
So they went around, looted everybody, all countries, took the resources.
I would say that they did bring a little bit of knowledge into these countries, but it was generally through the locals learning off of the British soldiers in them countries. But essentially, when they could, they basically just plundered resources, like with India with the tea and things like that, or in the Caribbean with the sugar. And that's been painted for.
Promote the Old Firm game coming up. We're promoting Sunday's Old Firm game. 1-0 to Rangers.
What are you saying?
1-0 to Celtic.
Okay, well we're back Sunday night here. I think the party will be in here. Up to here on Sunday.
My God, the love message. You hear the messages of love. The messages of love is beautiful. They're making a video. See, I told you that part.
Well, just playing the flute.
Look at that tap.
I'm not ruining
It's about tap, isn't it?
it.
No, it's no banter. Go.
No surrender with the people.
Celtic Rangers, 29th August, what's the prediction?
2-0 Celtic.
2-0.
2-0, 100%.
Okay.
Easy.
Easy work.
David Turnbull and Kyogo for a hash.
Sunday, I'd say
Training.
6-0 easy. 6-0 easy.
6-0. So what do you think the 29th August, Ibrox? Give me one score.
3-1 Celtic.
3-1 Celtic.
3-1 Celtic.